Hey everyone, it's Stacy from mypetitegarden. Welcome back. In this video, I will be unboxing a new plant that I recently purchased, and we'll also be doing some much needed plant chores together, including some watering, repotting, and some propagating. So I hope you enjoy. This is an Adenia glauca, and I've been wanting this plant for such a long time. And it's been a while since I purchased a new plant, so I finally decided to treat myself and finally make the purchase. The reason why I wanted to get this plant was because I've been seeing a lot of really beautiful photos of this particular plant on Instagram. I'll see if I can find the account name and maybe even grab a photo of it and show you guys on here. Hers is just absolutely stunning, and it is a really large and probably pretty old specimen that she has, but it just looked so beautiful in her photos draping off of her desk. So I was really inspired to try to grow mine to that size maybe one day. So yeah, I'm so excited because this one that I got actually looks really good, and I'm excited to see it grow. I got mine off of Etsy, and I will put the seller's name on here as well. This plant was actually stuck in transit for over a week, and there was really nothing I could do about it. Luckily, there wasn't any really cold temperature until maybe the last couple of days it was in the mail, and I was prepared to get a plant that's dead, but it actually looks really good for being in the mail in the cold for so many days. Because the plant came in such a large pot for its size, I wanted to repot it in the same potting mix, but just into a slightly smaller pot. And that's the reason why I was repotting it right after I received the plant. Normally I would wait, but I just really didn't have space on my shelf for such a large pot. We are going to be setting up our Christmas tree together, and this year was really special because our son is finally old enough to really understand what he's doing and have some input and actually help out. So he was able to help us hang some ornaments, which he had a lot of fun doing too. These are all the ornaments that we've collected over the years. So what we do each year is we add a few new ornaments to our collection, and that's how we end up with all these random ornaments, but somehow I feel like they still look pretty good all together. We even have some that aren't actually ornaments, like keychains and stuff, that my son insists he wants to put on the tree, so we do that. It's time to water some of the plants again, and I sometimes like to add hydrogen peroxide to my water when I'm watering. I find that it's very helpful when controlling fungus gnats. So I do that once in a while, and I've noticed that it does really help in terms of controlling the cycle of fungus gnats. What it does is it kills off all the eggs that is in the soil, so it will prevent the eggs from hatching and starting a new cycle. One thing to just note that it will kill all the beneficial insects as well in the soil, so if you're worried about that, then this might not be a good option for you. But I personally don't mind, and I haven't seen that it has affected my plants negatively. Some of you have asked me how often I water my houseplants, and it really depends, but generally I water them once a week. But if I notice that some plants maybe need an extra watering in between, I'll do that. And vice versa as well. If I notice a plant doesn't seem to need its weekly watering, then I'll skip it for the week. And I don't really change my watering schedule that much based on the seasons. Whether it's spring, summer, or fall and winter, I still generally water my plants at least once a week. I am going to finally take care of my Ripsalis paradoxa minor. This plant was on the struggle bus since the day I got it. My friend also purchased the same one with me from the same seller, and both of ours were struggling the whole time. I believe hers might not even be alive anymore. It is currently growing in pond. It was doing fine for a little bit. It wasn't really thriving, but it was surviving. So I left it alone, but then lately I noticed that it started dropping its segments. So I said I really need to take a look at it. So what I'm going to do is just take drastic measures. I'm going to take cuttings of the plant and then propagate the whole thing in fluval stratum, and then I'm just going to toss the whole base of it. You could even see that some of the strands were starting to rot at the bottom. I don't know what's going on with it, so for me, the best way to go about this is just to start fresh. I'm not sure if it's the specimen that we got that just wasn't good to begin with, but if any of you have grown the Ripsalis paradoxa minor, let me know what your experience has been like, because I grow the Ripsalis paradoxa major, or the bigger chain one, and it grows so well and so easy for me. So it's been a little mind-boggling. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but anytime I have a struggling plant that I don't really know what to do with, I always just end up propagating it in stratum. For me, it's been a fail-proof way to save a plant, so I highly recommend it if you guys haven't tried stratum yet. I will be also adding some systemics into my stratum. That's just a practice that I've been doing for a bit now because I don't want any pest issues, even with my propagations. Now let's look for a cover pot for my propagations. As you guys know, I always like to put my plastic pots into terracotta just to fit in with the rest of my plant aesthetic. Next thing we need to take care of is my Cissus quadrangularis. I've mentioned in my previous video that I really need to repot this plant because it is overgrowing this pot immensely. So today we are finally going to do this, and I am very nervous because I know that I'm going to lose quite a few segments every time I repot this plant. I had such a hard time trying to decide which one of these pots I want to put this plant into. I wanted to put it in the terracotta, but I know it's going to outgrow it very quickly. So I was thinking maybe the plastic terracotta colored pot might work, and I think that's ultimately what I finally decided to do. I personally prefer to put my plants in terracotta pots, not only because I like the look of it, but because I think that terracotta is such a breathable material that the plants can dry out properly. That's why I prefer to use terracotta most of the time, but with hanging plants, terracotta can get pretty heavy, so sometimes I would opt for terracotta colored plastic pots, so that is my compromise. Again, I will be sprinkling some systemics into the potting mix as a preventative for pests. Especially with a plant like this, you definitely do not want it to have any pests because it will be a nightmare to clean and try to get rid of the pests from all these little segments. I have dealt with mealybugs on this plant before and it was not fun. Mealybugs tend to stay on those little sections where each segment begins, and it was so hard to get rid of. Ultimately, I did have to put systemics in the soil in order to get rid of it completely. Here is one of our casualties from the repotting. This long segment fell off, so we will propagate that later. Now we will be taking care of all the casualties that fell off of our mother plant during the repotting. I will be once again using fluval stratum to propagate them in. that will be it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.